someone with the stature and fame of David Bowie, you guys pulled that album off in secret in New York City. What,
Yeah,
what the?
because
How did
because
that?
well, it was really a strange situation because they required David and his organization required that no one tell anyone anything about when we were recording, nor where we were recording, nor that we were recording at all. And I'd never heard this from David before, so I presumed that he was under some kind of public threat. That was my presumption at the time. That he
Mm.
just really that something was happening that he was uncomfortable with and didn't want this to be public. Maybe he didn't want the record company to know that we were doing it. I doubt it was that small, but it could have been. But yeah, we did it. We signed contracts, we signed non-disclosure, and we only talked to each other, and we told no one. And two somebodies got fired and the original studio got fired, which wasn't in New York. As far as I know, it wasn't in New York. Um, but but uh, but it was all very strange, and I mean, one of the musicians got fired for I think accidentally talking about it to somebody, and the first studio got completely blown out of the water. So when that came around, we really kept it quiet. So it was a little weird to be downtown, and go outside of toy. What's that place called? The Toy Factory?
Yeah, right.
Music shop, Toy Factory. I can't remember.
I know the one downtown. Yeah.
The famous place on in Soho. Shit, I can't remember. But it was weird. It was really a strange thing, Andre. That I know people in New York, and I know more people in New York now than I've ever known. And so, we're going outside to have a coffee. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, nothing, but I'm just working on my gear in a studio somewhere. Oh, can I come? No, it's kind of like, nah, probably not. It was very weird, very odd thing. Yeah, we pulled it off in like a couple of weeks.
Secret. Now, in terms of give us a quick snapshot of. I mean, he would just play you the track, or the engineer would, or because
this was a very different record for me with David, because in on Heathen and Reality and all the extra tracks that we did, it was usually just me and David and an engineer. Me and David and Mario McNulty, me and David and Tony, me and David and Brandon Mason. All of Heathen was just me and David and an engineer, all of it. And same thing for Reality. I had a lot of time to sit there and go, okay, I have an idea. Can I get to work now? Yeah, go ahead. And a lot of times in those first couple of records, in the first record, David was present until he saw me doing something. I'd have an idea, like the opening to Heathen, all that rhythmic looping stuff. He, as soon as he heard me doing that, he goes, okay, I'm going to go hang out with Lexi and have some lunch, and just let me know when you think you're done with this, but the next day was a completely different thing. It was the band live. Not a great environment for me, because I ended up in the control room, and I don't enjoy that as a guitarist. I like standing in front of my amp, no matter what the volume is. I like being in front of it so I can control the amp,
Yeah.
So I took a hit and stayed in the control room, which was fun, but they had tunes, so we'd run tunes. We'd look at a chart. There was one tune that we improvised completely with nothing but David singing the melody once, and the best version of it is not on the record. The best version of it was so hot. And, we all played some wrong notes. Everything was fixable, but the energy of David just singing and playing piano, and we don't know when he's going to change chords, when there was no indicator for it was so perfect. It was so happening. I was so upset when everybody wanted to do a second take and get their parts right. I was like, no way. What's wrong with you guys? That was so beautiful. And then Tony took the second take and he worked it up into more like a pop tune. And I felt like it really lost its edge, you know. That was my favorite. That part with that and playing David. David and I would play each other different music that neither of us had heard before a lot when we were hanging out. So I got to play him Alvino Ray. Do you remember Alvino, Vernon? The steel player who invented the vocoder. And
right, back in the days. Oh yeah, sure, of course.
Right, so he had that talking steel guitar playing those really complex.
Yeah, right. He was like on the King Family show or something like that.
He did
vocoder.
Yeah, well, I forget if I thought that his wife was in the quartet that sang the vocals. So I played him that, and he played me this male vocal quartet from Berlin that Hitler kept in Berlin, even though they were Jews. He kept them in Berlin because they were so good. He loved them so much, and eventually they escaped. But he played me some old material of theirs that was just absolutely stunning, unbelievable shit. And then we got into really, it was really fun.
Just to pause. You're saying that Hitler had his own private Jewish vocal quartet?
He had a little quintet of Jews that he kept in the country for his
quintet of.
Yeah.
That's a movie title. Wow.
Quintet of. Right. Wow, it's
who knew we would learn this tonight?
Not me.
Wow. Well, you know, obviously we got to come back and do this and kind of go through albums with you guys. But one thing I want to say for folks, we have a little time left, but make sure you follow these gentlemen on Instagram and on Twitter. They're both so active and creative, and I want to make sure we have the social links in there. Vert22 and David M. Torn, and then Torn David on Twitter. You can find those. But really interesting because both of you keep us in touch with what's happening right now, what your current projects are. David's always putting little clips up and little visits to his studio. So I wanted to make sure we got that in there. The Bowie thing, again, people that don't know those Bowie records, Heathen and The Next Day.
And Reality. Yeah.
Incredible. And I wanted to say there's a song, Vernon, do you know this song, If You Can See Me? It's on The Next Day. That's like a Vernon Reid song. He ripped you off. Do you know that song?
Actually, I think I have that record. I don't.
You know, there's some weird intervals in the chorus and stuff that doesn't sound like anything but a Vernon Reid tune on like Mistaken Identity or something. So,
no doubt. I have to check it out.